to unapologetic atheism. Here, we reject the idea that religion deserves reverence simply because it's old, powerful, or popular. We believe religions are untrue and promote an inherently harmful denial of reality. Our mission is simple: to end religion's dominance over our lives and to end it now. Not someday, not when it's convenient, not when everyone feels ready, now. This is the anti-altar call, an opportunity to undedicate your life to Christ, reclaim your autonomy, and join a community of secular humanists committed to uplifting marginalized voices, defending science, and fighting for the genuine liberation of human beings everywhere. I'm Dr. J. Bundy, aka Pocket Locker 86, an evolutionary biologist, biological anthropologist, and educator currently teaching anthropology and sociology at the collegiate level. I'm a former Christian youth minister and program director from a family of 5 generations of ministers. A church drummer and audio engineer turned scientist, organizer, political strategist, and unapologetic truth teller. It used to be my job to preach the gospel to kids. Now it's my mission to share the good news that the irrational gods we were taught to fear and obey do not exist. If you're here to think freely, live boldly, and build a better world rooted in reality instead of mythology, welcome. This is unapologetic atheism. Let's lock in.
Ready for takeoff?
Zach. Whoa. Working hard on my stump, what's the problem? I ain't had shit to show, being modest. Now it's grams of the wax for my conscience. Brian James in LA, you're on college. I've been jumping on them planes like a hobby. Still moving with the pack like my partners. Took the John on them jets cause we wildin'. But the bowl is a party on the island, moment of silence. So good, get back to the topic. Grew up, it was me and Flocka. Grandma's and Big T, this my mama. I ain't even for the pain when my pots flip. Knew his name, that's it, never bothered. Mom said, you the man, son, you got this. Ever since I found a way to go and pop shit. Hold up, blaze through a whole zip. Took a seat at the table of my first flip. Days in red roof for my first whip. Split the money with the gang, never post pics. Seen a change in the game, had to coach it. Never let them take my wangs on the mold, bitch. Ever made in a month, nigga. Used to serve him at the minute just to front, nigga. Goddamn. Had to grow up quick, I made my own rules. Had my first child, got it jumping with music. Can't really hang with nobody who losing. I thought by now that you would go and get it, but I could hardly see niggas this distant. Know you get cropped if you not in the picture. And I made that Zag and went got a bag. Shots to the Henny and OG prescriptions, put rebel shit on the map. Took a leap from where I started at. Started ballin', now I'm Chris Paul and Cats. Got him steady calling for the mold, but I'm on a roll, gotta call him back. And that's all fact.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. All carry-on items should now be stowed securely, either in an overhead bin or under the seat in front of you. All aisles, exits, and bulkhead areas should now be clear. All electronic devices should now be turned off and stowed, as they may interfere with the aircraft's navigational and communication systems. Once airborne, we'll let you know when you may use approved electronic devices, but note that some items may not be used at any time during the flight. You'll find a list of approved devices in the in-flight information section.
Welcome everybody to another edition of the Pocket Locker Podcast. I'm your host with the most, all the way from the East Coast. And as always, good people, I am in airplane mode. And for those of you that don't know, airplane mode is actually my cousin. and he really, really gets down like that. I hit him up today, like, yo, cuz, what's up for the holiday? Because, cuz supposed to be doing little friends giving, little something, something. We count on cuz to come through. And he was like, nothing, man. I'm going to have the kids, man. I'm going to do a late brunch with the kids. But, after the kids get out of here, man, it's going to be Smoke City and Hennessy. I might have the people come through. All right, cuz. I'm going to slide on through. And it's going to be just like that video. It's going to be just like that video. A whole bunch of us chilling. He probably going to be DJing. He be at his own house, having his own parties, hosting, but he be DJing because he's a DJ. So, and a whole bunch of his crew, like his DJ crew be there. So sometimes it'd be 3-4 different DJs just because half the people at this party are DJs. And then everybody shows up with hella weed. Everybody brings bottles of Hennessy. So you'd be like, y'all don't want no kind of different liquors. No, we do weed and Hennessy. Weed and Hennessy. It's gonna be about 4, 5, 6 bottles of Hennessy. Good times. Good times. Good times. Give you something to look forward to for the holidays. All right, folks, let's go ahead and we're going to jump into today's content, but I got some clips to show y'all that, some stuff. Some of this stuff is just stuff that comes across my feed or I like. And some of it is stuff actually my one black friend, my co-host for Hot Program, sends me. All right, so check this one out. This is so good. There's really no dialogue, but I'm going to read it to you. All right, so this sign says, can we finally admit that what many Christians call... Hang on, let me turn this down. It said, can we finally admit that what many Christians call spiritual warfare is just discomfort with accountability? Oh, I'm dead. Oh, that's killer. That is killer. Like, think about this. It's not even 30 seconds, y'all. And she's just sitting there eating her little, she looked like she's in a diner or something. And she's just sitting there like eating her little meal at the diner or whatever. Doesn't say a word. Doesn't just put some real nice, peaceful background music and just this quote. Can we finally admit that what many Christians call quote unquote spiritual warfare is just discomfort with accountability? Please slay them, queen. Slay them, queen. Her face is just like, yeah, maybe we should. Love it. All right, let's see what else I got. I got a couple more good clips. I'm gonna say that one for last. All right, I'm gonna show you this one next. All right, this next clip is actually related to the content for today. So keep an eye on this one, but it's another good one for y'all.
If they do not disperse food stamps for the month of November, and your church, the church that you attend, the church that you pay tithes to every Sunday, the church that you have watched perform renovations of the church building and buy new properties so they can expand and grow the church. If your church allows the same politicians that we are upset with to come into your church during re-election time and shake hands and kiss babies, but they don't come throughout the rest of the year, if that church is your church and you don't see your church create a food bank, offer some type of financial assistance to those that are disabled or already impoverished, waiting on food stamps to feed themselves and their children. If your church does not make sure that their flock and their community is fed, you need to find another church. You need to find another church, because your church is supposed to be the storehouse. The church is supposed to take care of people when they are in need. If your church does not make sure that their congregation, their community is fed, and you stay in that church, you are just as bad as MAGA. If they do not...
Oh, I know it's a whole lot of liberal and progressive Christians. I know it's a whole lot of my black and brown Christians, my working class Christians, my sadly and unfortunate LGBTQ Christians. We got to get back to y'all later. We got to have a whole separate conversation. I know a lot of y'all is in y'all feels, but she said what she said, and she is standing on business. If your church is not bringing them resources together, we done seen the plate go around 3-4 times. You know, pastor don't hit that stage without that big old slide or the big old video they got that got about 4-5 different links. You know, the church be like, you can hit us with the Cash App, you can hit us on PayPal, you can hit us through Venmo, you can hit us through Ko-Fi, we have a Patreon, you could send your link through the website, you could send us an envelope, there are baskets in the back. Like, you know they after they money. They might have a whole special video package that they roll out when it's giving time just to really inspire your stuff. They might have a regular offering where you're supposed to do your tithes and all the offering and stuff, and then they come back and hit you one more again. They come back and hit you one more again because they got to get that benevolence offering in there. So now we've been doing all this tithing, all of this sacrificing, all of this donating. We've been giving the offerings and the benevolence offerings and all of that. And now the government then came and they snatched up them SNAP benefits and that WIC money. Now, what are y'all going to do for your people? And I want y'all to truly, truly do this social experiment. Y'all know the social experiment that's going around. Hit them up and see what they got. See if they'll get you little baby formula. See if they can hit you up with some diapers. You know what I'm saying? See if they can hit you up with a couple of bottles. You know what I'm saying? But gang, look. You know they ain't really messing around with it like that, because you know that money ain't for spending on the people. Let's be real. But I'm gonna hit you with another one. If you really down, if you want to get down like us, if you really want to take it to the next level, if you really want to confirm for yourself that this is indeed your opportunity, this is indeed your season to undedicate your life to Christ, okay? First off, I'm gonna need you to smash that like button one time. Amen, hallelujah. Amen, hallelujah. If you know it is time to undedicate your life to Christ, I'm gonna need you to smash that like button, okay? Now, all right, y'all. But real talk, if you really want to take your game to the next level, not only do I want you to hit them up and see what they have available for your babies now that the SNAP is gone, I want you to tell them when you go about your holiday and your Christmas giving and you're dropping off turkeys and you're dropping off toys and you're doing the Christmas present drive and you're hooking all the kids up, no advertising. No advertising. Don't let them know what church is coming from. Don't advertise for your services. Don't tell them your address where they could come visit you, what hours you're having service. Don't say nothing. Don't even tell the administrators of the school where the gifts came from. Just drop them off in the middle of the night and dip. You know what I'm saying? Make a little arrangement, a little teacher, anonymous donation, no mention of where it comes from, and see what they really about. See if they really about that life where giving is truly about the season of giving and bringing the people together and making the community whole, or is it really just a means to proselytize, to do PR, to do advertising for the church that wants to indoctrinate your children and lie to them? So, you know what I'm saying? Look, gang, from now on, that's what the holiday season really needs to be. It needs to be less about celebrating the birth of baby Jesus, and it needs to be more about these social experiments where we take it to the streets and we really test your faith. If this really is the season and Jesus is the reason for the season, then y'all will show us through your anonymous, totally selfless giving. And we'll be like, damn, I'm so impressed with these churches. All right, y'all, let's have some fun. Check this out. This right here is where I need my white brethren to be. Notice in what I'm about to show you, this brother with the real going on is going to take the lead. And my man who's making the video, he understands his role. He understands his role in supporting this brother and then using his platform to extend this brother's platform. This is the type of allyship we're looking for, gang. Let me show y'all this real quick.
Booze out in Hamilton, build a ballroom.
You can clap along if you got the rhythm.
No, that ain't making sense.
Some of y'all might be rhythmically challenged. It's okay.
It feels like a conspiracy. Why would Lockheed Martin build a ballroom? That ain't making sense to me. No, that don't make
Fire.
sense. They build missiles. Now it's drinks. So why'd you whistle? It's something sinister indeed. Oh, why would Palantir want to help build a ballroom? That ain't making sense to me. No, that ain't making I just can't get down with that man. You remember that scene from Batman? They're gonna build more surveillance technology. Oh, turns out Hitler also built a ballroom. Oh, be surprised, now it's making sense to me. Oh, now it's making sense.
Stuff hit the fan, that's the place that they all ran. And it turns out that Trump has the exact same plan. Love it.
Damn it.
Fire. Just absolute fire. All right. Speaking of fire, it's time for the exact opposite of fire. Let's talk about ICE and let's talk about awful takes, just god awful takes. Gang, I'm gonna just let y'all watch this. I'm gonna let y'all do the listening and the viewing, as I know you showed up to do. I know y'all showed up to participate, so I'm gonna put you to work. Okay, I'm gonna have y'all watch this and listen, and y'all tell me if you can tell what the problem is. Let's see how y'all are doing. Let's see if you can pick up what she's putting down.
For my morning jog this morning, and there's some police down here. I don't want to really put the camera on them, but they have a homeless man in cuffs that they're pulling into the police vehicle. This area that I walk past all the time, there's been some real problems like firing of guns and stuff down here in this homeless encampment, which I have a lot of compassion for. You guys know that I have a nonprofit and I help homeless people. They have their police four-wheel vehicles, and there's a ramp where you can go down into this dry riverbed. And I just thought it was so sweet and so beautiful that they're down there and they're gathering all of his possessions. It looks like maybe he has a tent and just, clothing and all kinds of stuff like in a shopping cart. And they're putting it into plastic bags and putting it into the police vehicle with him. And they were just making sure that they have all of his stuff. So just walking past here and listening to how respectfully they're speaking to him and just making sure, is that everything? And then loading these big plastic bags full of his stuff into the vehicle with him. That is how we treat a human being. They were so kind. They were so respectful. Multiple officers, such a kind tone of voice. They said hello to me and smiled as I walked past. These are not masked ICE agents just roaming around that aren't in any way affiliated with our community. These are members of the community. These are moms and dads who live right here in my hometown who feel that very much, that they're an integral part of, Mr. Rogers, like, who are the people in your neighborhood? They are the law enforcement in our neighborhood. They have to show their faces, and they have a care and compassion for everybody that is not demonstrated at all by the ICE agents. Ironically, as a woke, liberal, feminist, atheist, whatever, all the things that people call me, it's surprising to some that I do support a reinforced American border. I think that there should be a pathway to citizenship. I don't think that we should open any of our borders just to whoever, because in the name of security, we need to know who's here. And we should vet immigrants. That's a thing in every country, not just America. That being said, sometimes deportation is necessary, but there is a way to do that. And that human dignity, that human respect should always be there. We should always remember that, to be humans first, co-citizens on this beautiful earth that sustains all of our lives, and Americans and Mexicans and Kenyans and Russians and Spaniards and whatever, that's second. That's not our main identity. All men are created equal. That's America.
Christianity
All
is
right,
a
all
brilliant.
right, all right. This is also a fantastic video. We'll come back. We might check out that video another time. Sorry, I keep my stuff on a playlist, and so sometimes if I'm not like right on top of the button, it'll play the next video on the list. All right, did y'all hear that? That was fucking painful. I let her go so that y'all could hear it in its full scope and context or whatever. But did y'all pick up what I picked up on? Just wow, this is what we've got to talk about. All right, and I know a lot of this is going to sound personal. It's really not. These are mega big trends. These are things that are happening in the world. They're happening in society. They're huge patterns. Okay, and we're just off in some little corner of the YouTube landscape, and we see what goes on in our neck of the woods, or what we pick up in our algorithms is really not happening in our neck of woods, because these are not people that are part of our rather small community, but they are known entities throughout our community. They're sort of like micro celebrities or something, if you want to think of it that way. And I'm here to talk about what's going on in the world of people like this and how it influences what we have going on. And so these examples are really helpful. Actually, like Jenny, I consider myself, one of her subscribers, and I watch her content, and I certainly think that she represents a really important demographic in the grand scheme of things. I think she really does have a great heart. And I appreciate the journey that she's on, being a former Mormon trad wife who left all that behind, and is now like on the right side of history, and becoming more and more progressive and humanistic, and I applaud her for that. And further, she's not a fucking coward. She really does go there with regard to social issues and political issues and racism and sexism. Her content is particularly empowering for women. So she's got a lot going for her, and I don't want to take any of that away from her. I did cover her, I think, in my last stream, because she was not bragging, but sort of defending her interfaith relationship from some of the Christian criticism that is hurled her way. And I took issue with it because I think there's a lot of problems with interfaith relationships, and a lot of non-believers, I think, have to accept what we would consider an unhealthy power dynamic or an outright abusive relationship to make a relationship work with a believer. And I think it can be a big problem to overlook all that and just pretend that it's really nice that you and some believer have decided to not take your differences that seriously, and make your relationship work. Again, I'm happy for people who do it, but it does become a problem when you start like kind of preaching to the rest of us like there's something wrong with us for not recognizing the obvious incompatibilities with these people. And here is a similar issue where there's just a huge problem with this perspective, and we have to really talk about it. We have to kind of talk about the problem of white liberal deconverts, especially because, let's face it, I've been thinking about, I've been teaching anthropology and sociology this semester, even though I'm a biologist. I do have a master's degree in biological anthropology from Penn State, which is like the top ranked program. So I do consider myself a biological anthropologist by way of training and expertise. But it's been really fun to sort of bring that evolutionary perspective back into the social science classroom. And one of the things I've been thinking about with my students is a lot of them are preparing for elite careers. A lot of them want to be in medicine in some way or another, if not med school or dentistry. A lot of them want to go into nursing or like radiology or, vision care technology, that type of stuff. And these are these like elite occupations, and they come with a lot of status and high salary and benefits. And, you know, for students at a local college who are really trying to improve their lives, that's a very wise and sensible decision for them. But you do get to kind of teach them and work with them when they're in this transitionary phase, right, where they haven't yet achieved these occupational goals that they have, and you hope you can have some positive influence on them for the type of people that they become when they get where they're going. And I think about this a lot with YouTube because I think, let's face it, like a lot of people dream of creating content. A lot of people dream of creating content kind of like the way I create content, or a lot of you create content, which is kind of like, you know, we create content as a hobby or a sense of community, and we make content for our friends in our community. And of course, we, you know, dream of becoming big, powerful YouTube stars. But for the most part, we're happy to, you know, find our voice and have a group of people that watch us and listen to us on a regular basis. And God dang it, sometimes that channel even grows, and you know, you get the fairly sizable audience, maybe an audience comparable to being a minister of a small church or something like that. I don't know, or a small radio program or something. So anyway, for a lot of people though, it really does become a full-time job and a way of life. And I don't think it's necessarily as easy as it looks to a lot of people from the outside. I think truly coming up with good, creative, authentic content, no matter what genre it is really difficult. And then there's the editing and the marketing and all the soft skills. I do have a lot of respect for content creation as a profession, but I do think in many cases it's at least becoming perceived as an elite profession, not only because of its ability to provide a living for people, but it seems to provide quite a good, comfortable living for people. We see YouTube people, you know, live good lives and they seem to be making good money and they're traveled and cultured and all of that type of good stuff. Got sponsorship deals, right? It's and then it comes, your success is directly tied to your influence. So it's not even like other careers where, like, let's say you're a really successful doctor or lawyer or engineer or something, and then you kind of, maybe that profession allows you to accrue a number of resources. But if you really wanted to be kind of known outside your profession or become a person of influence, you'd probably have to like make a second effort to leverage your resources into something that gave you influence, right? But if you're a professional content creator, then your job and the success of your job kind of goes hand in hand with your influence. So then naturally it comes with sort of influence. So there's reason to, like, properly, I would say, like, as a social scientist, to see it as a prestigious and maybe even elite occupation for those that, you know, have that opportunity, right? And at the same time, we have to look and say, who has that opportunity? And for me, it's really quite heavily slanted towards, you know, white folks with like a lot of resources. Like, you have to have a certain degree of resources built up. Like, you have to have usually enough financial security that you've got, like, you know, a stable living situation and a good computer, and you can afford a decent camera or whatever, right? You also have to be somewhat in some kind of leisure class where you've got some real extra time to dedicate to this thing, right? And then you've got to have enough resources either saved up, stored, or whatever, that you can actually transition. Like, you can actually, you know, you've built up enough of a following that you can afford to now make a hard switch and not miss any of your rent payments or your bills or anything like that. Or you've got somebody in your house that can do that for you, right? Or, you know, you've got enough saved up that you've got a, you know, sort of some runway to time to, like, build it up, right? So there's a lot of different reasons why it's difficult for most people to get that kind of opportunity. And then, of course, there's the problem of consumption and the algorithm, and you've got to be charismatic and marketable and, you know, have a certain, you know, visual appeal to people because it's not radio, right? And so then it comes down to like, who do people want to watch, right? And there's a certain degree you can't really control whether or not you're the type of person people want to watch. And so then you look at like the way our media landscape is then totally tilted. You know, we could get into conversations about the Overton window, whatever, things like that. So things tend to be way slanted to the right. You know, corporate influence and big money in America has always been a super conservative influence. You know, you can see the Christo-fascism everywhere throughout the algorithm. And so then the ecosystem kind of gets smaller and tighter as you go to the left, right? And then when you go into like explicitly atheist spaces, geez, it feels like there's really not even that much of a space for people to become professional atheist content creators, right? But then when we look at who actually has been able to do it, boom, again, we see primarily this demographic of pretty privileged white content creators. And so it's less of an attack on them as individuals and more a reflection on what some of the consequences are, right? And primarily, I think the consequences are, and that's why I labeled the thumbnail Pretty White Rookies, is that these people are very charismatic. They're very attractive, and not just in terms of like their physical appearance, but more so about like having like an attractive, agreeable, kind of friendly disposition that then, since it's so heavily reinforced for them, it becomes kind of metastasized as like a self-fulfilling prophecy of like, oh, I'm really friendly and I have this really like accommodating personality. I get a lot of great feedback and like growth off of that. So then that tells me that that's the right approach. And so they like double down on that. And then this thing like snowballs, right? And the reality is, while I do appreciate their content and I appreciate them stepping out of the dogmatic past that they had, and kind of being on the right side of history, to me, it's a problem because these people really do lack either the lived experience or some sort of professionally acquired expertise that would really qualify them to have what I would consider like a leading voice in terms of, you know, organizing an agenda that other people should be following if, like us, they are trying to really achieve something. Like, if you're just spitting through the YouTube lands looking for something to watch, to kick back and have some fun and laugh at Christians, like, you know, knock yourself out. I guess it doesn't really matter, right? But if you're really actually concerned about the dominance of religion in our lives and you want to bring that to an end, and that means we actually have like real material goals. Like, we're not just doing this for no reason. Like, we have things we want to see change in the real world. And so as a result of that, like, we have to be way more critical about what is the sort of MO of the people who get elevated into these leadership positions. And they don't often like, you know, try to like come out saying that everybody has to follow them or that they're leaders, but it's just kind of a natural result of like building a following and like having a voice, and then, you know, the influence that comes with it. And so for me, I just think we need to be critical about the fact that like, yo, these people really don't have the lived experience. And then you see this other problem where they're ready to crown themselves like fully baked revolutionaries. Like, no, I know I was a Mormon trad wife, just in the previous chapter of my life, but now I'm a totally based, woke, progressive leftist. And it's like, actually, and I fucks with her for having a homeless shelter, and I think she's even experienced housing insecurity and some homelessness in herself when she got out of her marriage. So I know that that's an issue that's near and dear to her heart. But you are a white lady who just went live on your walk through your neighborhood so that you could literally tell your growing audience of thousands and thousands of people how beautiful it is the way you saw these police officers politely arresting this homeless person. And if these are the people running homeless shelters that talk like this, right? This is what I mean when I say with friends like this, who needs enemies? If you literally have the people who run shelters for the unhoused talking about how beautiful it is that multiple police officers are spending tax dollars politely putting his belongings in a police vehicle, you have a lot of deconstructing left to do. And I'm glad that you aspire to leftism, but you are a trainee in leftism. You are a rookie in leftism. I've been there, and quite frankly, I still consider myself a rookie. But like, just nah, there's levels to the game. There's just levels to the game, y'all. And I think, you know, it's the same thing with like the Dunning-Kruger, right? The more you know you don't know. And the less you know, for some odd reason, you seem to think you know everything. And I think, you know, like, there's just a lot going on. There's a lot left that these people have to deconstruct. And honestly, it comes to a point where a lot of them, I don't even think really know how to center marginalized people and marginalized voices. I'm really starting to feel, I'm going to just say it since this is my channel. Like, the truth is, I feel like a lot of these white liberals, they're not actually concerned about marginalized people. Marginalized people center marginalized voices because we have the lived experience to know these things matter. Racism matters to me. If the world is less racist, my life is immediately better. When the world gets more racist, my life is immediately way more fucked up. The shit is immediate, it's serious, it has real life consequences. For people who don't deal with the actual issues themselves, it's an intellectual exercise. It's more about having the right opinion, but you're not really going to be affected one way or the other. So then really, and this is the part I need y'all to pay attention to, marginalized people are a means to shame their political opponents. I repeat, marginalized people are a means to shame their political opponents. One more time for the people in the back. Marginalized people are a means to shame their political opponents. They don't actually give a fuck about making a difference in the lives of the marginalized people themselves. The marginalized people are a political tool to make their opponents look bad so they can point over there and laugh, go, ha ha ha, look at all those racists. Meanwhile, yes, officer, please politely remove this unhoused man from my beautiful walking path because he's kind of just fucking up the reflection of the sun as I'm on my peaceful walk here. Oh, but I'll be at the homeless shelter later trying to, like, it's just like the cognitive dissonance involved in that, right, is so crazy. And so, like, that's what's going on a lot in our space out here. All right, so let's keep it moving because I got a bunch of other examples to show you. So next up is from a video that used to be called Wisecrack. Now he's Michael. His name is Michael O. Burns, and his channel's Michael Burns or whatever. I don't know how this works. This video is called How I Became a Christian Atheist. And y'all know I have my own journey with that fucked up ass oxymoron of a term. But really, it's a video all about how, you know, his particular understanding of the gospel led him to Marxism, and then he doesn't understand, you know, or I shouldn't say he doesn't understand, but he then mentions, you know, Christianity's been hijacked by these crazy bigoted fascists and all this stuff. And it's like pining for this true Christianity. And so this is what kind of thing we need to address, because a huge part of this problem is what I call the liberal whitewashing of Christianity, right? Again, remember, marginalization is just a means of shaming these people's political opponents, right? So what happens is they like to look at the conservatives and go, oh, look how bigoted, racist, homophobic, and fucked up the conservative evangelical Christians are, right? Haha, point and laugh, right? And then what they get to say is, but us over here on the left, we believe in the true gospel, right? Of the hippy dippy lovey dovey Jesus, right? And so then you get atheists because they're fucking liberal coded and again just into the whole white liberal fucking mentality of things. They think that what we actually need to do is not attack Christianity, not get rid of this fucking untrue, ridiculous fucking bullshit. Okay, not tear down the god of white supremacy. No, 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 no. We need liberal whitewashing of Christianity. We need to reclaim the peaceful, lovey-dovey, hippie Woodstock Jesus, and then Woodstock Jesus would really be our salvation, because then we'd get the God of love and mercy. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. Okay? Fuck out of here with that bullshit. Yeah, appreciate y'all. Definitely hit up that question of the day. I always forget to like emphasize the question of the day. It's a easy way to engage and hear from y'all. And I always try to make sure it's related to today's discussion. So if you're watching later, please get us going in the comment section by answering the question of the day, which is, do you think it's time to reconsider whose voices you prioritize supporting on YouTube? And yeah, because I think that's what this is all about, is us really starting to get critical about just where we're at and what we're in this for. And then, you know, what can we do with our consumption? What can we do with our watch time, with our subscriptions, with hitting that like button, with who we're sending super chats to, you know, who's Patreon or Ko-Fi or whatever, who's Discord, which communities are we joining, you know, which content creators do we think we need to support? And I only say that because, again, as a very small content creator with some of this intersectional marginalization stuff, I can tell you that for people like me, at least, it takes conscious effort to support a content creator like me. It's not something that's going to come easily to you through your algorithm. You have to like make a choice that like I want to seek out a certain type of voice, and I have to understand that that type of voice may not have as many subscribers, may not get pushed as much in the algorithm. So I might have to look a little bit harder. I might have to hit up some of my friends and see, you know, some people who I think are onto some cool shit, like who are they listening to or whatever. And then in turn, I might have to like do a little bit more to share those voices, to promote those voices, you know, to make sure if I'm sending super chats to motherfuckers who are already, you know, paying their bills with YouTube, that I'm sending some super chats to people who I'd like to see be able to pay their bills with YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And so that's for all of us, myself included. And so this is something I'm thinking about all the time and reevaluating. So that's why that's our question of the day. And I definitely appreciate hearing from y'all on that. And some of the people in the chat are saying yes, and Kyle hit us with the you bet your ass. So I appreciate that, Kyle. We know Kyle's always down for the fight. So yeah, hang on. I'm gonna get to this. I want to read some of these content. Faith Exposed said the Bible would have to be so edited to be a tool for good. Better to put it in the past. Otherwise, it will always be a ticking time bomb for fascism, in my opinion. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Oh, Faith Exposed. Holy crap. I gotta say, I'm a big fan. Absolutely love your content. Keep up the great work. And definitely we should collab at some point. Because I just am a huge fan. So if you watch this channel, maybe you'd be down to come do an interview or something, because I know probably a lot of people in my audience are also huge fans, but glad to have you in chat. And yeah, I really do believe overall that that's what this time is about. It needs to be a time where we find the courage of our convictions. I think I said to PC yesterday that this kind of quote came to me, which was, people are more afraid of the trauma that it would cause to tell people their beliefs are not true than the trauma it will cause if you don't. And I really think we have to just say, we know this stuff isn't true. We know there's really no good reason to believe in God. We know it's going to be a very difficult conversation for believers, and we can be sensitive to that. But at the same time, we have to stand on business and tell them, hey, like I insist, this is not true. And if you insist on believing it, like that's okay, but you have to understand the world is going to move in this different direction because the rest of us really do know it's not true. And you're going to have to understand the burden that needs to be met to change this tide. Like, this isn't something where we can just keep letting people be in their feels about it. I was hearing a little children's ditty in my head earlier. The feels on the wuss go round and round, round and round, round and round. The feels on the wuss go round and round. But no, we really had to tell people you can handle the truth. And it's just time. The world has seen enough of this. And so our real thing is, we think our opportunity is Trump. Our opportunity is MAGA. One thing I learned from history is this idea. Actually, I was teaching my students about this year. It's called rites of intensification. And rites of intensification is, you can think of it as sort of like a ritual, like a rite of passage, but it's usually something that follows a major break, like a natural disaster or a war or something like that, where people really need to like intensify and reify their identity because, you know, there's been a tremendous fracture or tragedy in the community. And I think we need to take all of the shit that we have had to deal with because of Trump and MAGA and say, actually, this is our opportunity. This is our opportunity to say enough is enough. We have watched what Christians have brought us. We have seen it, and we're not going to let you off the hook for this one. So Trump needs to go down. Christianity needs to go down with Trump. Sorry about my phone going off. I'll turn that off in a second. Let's play this, because what I want y'all to hear in this one is, again, how he gets to this sort of liberal whitewashing of Christianity that I think is really problematic, even in the atheist community.
The whole road to Jericho needs to be rethought.
No, it doesn't. It's telling them you can't go defecate on the side of the street, clean up, get out of here. I'm going to put you in prison.
So hold on now.
They're homeless by choice.
Now, I chose to start it there for a reason, right? Because that speaks to what she was talking about in her video about the beautiful, lovely, sweet homeless arrest. It's why you can't have those kind of talking points. Because those kind of talking points feed right into what the fuck Charlie Kirk was saying, right? And so we can't have people occupying space on the left, self-identifying themselves as growing political voices on the left, who then basically give us the liberal whitewashed version of the Charlie Kirk talking point. Now, let's also see where John Burns is going to go with this.
My fears relieved. How precious dear that face appear.
And I built you an altar, I built you an altar.
The Bible certainly is one of, if not, I mean, it is the book.
He was going to change the world, and he did. Charlie's life was a turning point for this country. It was a miracle.
If I see a black
hang on, let me answer this comment here. When you're newer to this scene like I am, it can sometimes be hard to figure out who to support when there's drama going on that you're not all in the know about. That is 100,000% true. And to be honest with you, you have to be graceful with people because of that reason. People don't know, you know, but it's also a problem. I did that myself when I was new. A lot of people know, for instance, about my history with Otangelo. Now, I went at Otangelo's ass. Some people started following me because of they saw me cursing out Otangelo either on my channel or Otangelo's channel. But he was somebody that was very friendly with me when I was new on the scene, and a lot of people tried to tell me he was like an asshole and I should avoid him. And they told me like stories of hurtful things he had done to people, and I decided to befriend him anyway. And when I did that, I decided that if I ever met somebody he hurt, it wouldn't maybe not be fair of me to unfriend him because of that, because I knew when I became friends with him that he had a past where he hurt people. We've all hurt people in the past. So there's a chance you might meet somebody who that person's hurt, right? So when I met Bree and found out that Bree was like the person that, or one of the people that Otangelo hurt, that was very difficult, but I defended continuing my engagement with Otangelo, partly because he told me he had apologized for things he had done wrong in the past and things like that. Anyway, would eventually learn that was mostly bullshit, would observe him, doing plenty of fucked up shit after that, realized he was the piece of shit the whole time. And I just regret that. Of course, Bree became one of the people that I consider, one of my better friends in this space and somebody I really, really care about in real life. Bree and I definitely could definitely turn to each other in difficult times, and I love Bree. So I really regret that. But I also recognize that's what it was. It was literally me not knowing who's who, not knowing drama that had happened before I came onto the scene, not really knowing how to handle it, not knowing what the most ethical thing to do as a content creator was, still trying to give, believers and conservatives a chance, even though that meant understanding that they've probably said and done some fucked up shit in the past, right? Like all of that, all those are real human considerations. Part of what I think the test really is not, do you fuck up? Do you make these mistakes? It's more like, are you reflective about them? Do you hear what the community says when you do one of these things we say you shouldn't have done? And then does it change your orientation? Are you a little bit more careful going forward? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you change your approach to things? Do you reconsider how you do things? Because I see a lot of people do that, and I really fucking appreciate it. For instance, like Michael Beverly, there was a lot of people like that. But I've seen a lot of other people who it's really just performative. Like there's this way, basically, I have my suspicions about certain people. I'm not going to name them tonight because I don't plan on covering them on this stream. So if I'm not going to, really get into examples, then I probably shouldn't come at them. But I will just say there's certain people who I think they're being very performative. I think they know well in advance when they're about to step in some shit, but they decide that it's what's best for their channel. So they step in the shit anyway. Then when it goes bad or it wreaks havoc in the community and there are consequences, they do kind of this performative, oh, I'm really sorry. Oh, I had no idea. I didn't think it was going to work out that way. Right. And then the very next time there's an opportunity to betray their values for clicks and likes, they're going to do the same thing all over again and do the whole same song and dance. And then there are people who are performative about that. So we have literally had people, again, I'm not going to name names today, but we've had people, and even people who I considered good friends, who were very locked into the community, very asking the community ahead of time, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I talk to this person? Should I talk to that person? Should I even keep my channel going? Right. And they were always really conscientious about how those things might play out. But then again, when the right opportunity came along for them to put asses in seats, all of a sudden they threw all that out the window, refused to talk to us or engage with us about those things, and then would go on campaigns and basically call us the woke mob and cancel culture and, that whole routine. So this is a rough game out here. I'm not going to lie. It's a rough fucking game out here. But the same way I don't make excuses for myself, right? Like I made some mistakes as an earlier YouTube, but I'm on mission. And so that means you gotta adjust and you gotta keep going. And you can't use your mistakes as an excuse to not do better going forward. And so that's sort of one of those things for me. And it's what you look at. And all I'm saying is what you see may be an illusion, and so sometimes you might get tricked, and that's part of the, unfortunately that's part of the game too. But I do think the thing you look for is a person conscientious? Are they reflective about their engagements? And do they really seem to understand maybe the need to make changes going forward? Because when that's the case, then we're supercharged. When that's the case, we're supercharged because we're all hearing from different perspectives, and we may not always agree, and we may not always be able to win each other over to our strategy. Like, I may never be able to convince certain people to stop being so goddamn accommodating of Christianity. They may just be stuck on stupid with regard to that. But if we can hear each other, understand each other better, make more room for each other so that we have a diversity of approaches, then I think that's a strength to us. So yeah, these are fucking phenomenal questions and comments. All right, let me roll some of this tape here so you guys can hear this.
I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope this
Interesting music choice. All right. So this is where he's like trying to like show, you know, the hard right evangelical, and then he ends with this kid.
So if Christianity was able to help me and lots of other people that I've talked to both in person and online arrive at a sort of socialistic, humanistic, Marxist political project.
Do you hear that? That's the thing I want to resist. And I know this is the thing that's going to make us unpopular. This is the thing liberals don't want to hear. Right? Liberals don't want to hear that we're done with this. I don't want to hear about Christianity landed you on liberal socialist Marxism. Okay. If Christianity is what helped you land on leftist socialist Marxism, great. I'm glad it got you there. But it means you didn't understand Marx and you didn't understand Christianity. I made the same mistake because I bought into the same liberal whitewash Christian bullshit myself. But what you would eventually learn that is actually like Christianity is not fucking humanism. If you want to be a humanist, become a fucking humanist. There's a word for the people who prioritize human beings. They're called humanists. They're not called Christians. Jesus is the same one calling women dogs, which is calling women bitches. Not woke. Not progressive. Okay? He's the one saying not one jot or tittle of the law shall fall away. That means the man is upholding the entire Mosaic law, okay? All that fucked up shit about slavery and women and rape and marrying your rapist and treating women like he's upholding all of that. Upholding all of that. Then the motherfucker wouldn't give anybody a straight answer about whether or not he was even fucking God. Pontius Pilate tries to get his ass off. He's like, I am who you say I'm, Jesus. Answer the motherfucking question. So, like, we have to stop. And from atheist, gang, please understand, you are giving your money to atheists who are whitewashing Christianity so that we can have more of it.
then why the fuck does it also seem to create a full-on white nationalist authoritarian movement here in the United States? You know, one that seems to basically hate people to hate all the people except for a very small subset of people who all have certain things in common. I mean, it's very fucked up. Like, it's really fucked up. And this is something that I want to explore in a potential part 2 of this video, which I'm planning on making, assuming that the reaction to this one is positive. So if you want me to get into that, please let me know, because I'll do it. You know, because while Christianity itself might have an emancipatory and humanistic message at its core,
I'm gonna let y'all hear it again.
2 of this video, which I'm planning on making, assuming that the reaction to this one is positive. So if you want me to get into that, please let me know, because I'll do it. You know, because while Christianity itself might have an emancipatory and humanistic message at its core, there's been an insidious force corrupting American Christianity from the inside for decades.
It might have an emancipatory and humanistic core that has been corrupted. Do y'all hear the liberal whitewashing of Christianity? I need to know that y'all, because I'm really not trying to go at these people personally, but I am seeing these as perfect examples of how even atheists are freaking whitewashing Christianity. It's wild. All right, here's our guy Kyle Klinsky. Again, I like Kyle. I watch a lot of Kyle's content. I think when it comes to political takes and, you know, giving us independent news and shit, Kyle's great. Let's hear Kyle talking about the latest pope.
And they insist that technology and human innovation are the true sources of salvation. Oh boy. Oh boy. So, by the way, this Pope Leo is very similar to the previous pope. And so he's very left-leaning. He's like anti-war, he's pro-immigrant. And so, God forbid you have a Catholic leader who preaches that you should act more like the example of Jesus. That is unacceptable. And
God forbid you should have a Catholic preacher who says you should follow the example of Jesus. Again, straight out. And Kyle claims to be like he was a new atheist. He was all into the hardcore angry atheist, blah, blah, blah. But again, he's now trying to tell us how liberal the Pope of the Catholic Church is, gang. And how this Pope, because he's anti-war and pro-immigrant, wow, great. Think about how low that bar is. He's anti-war. I'm not giving a single human being on earth credit for being anti-war. You're supposed to be anti-war, and you're not even supposed to need religion to be anti-war. And he's pro-immigrant. You're supposed to be pro-fucking immigration. It should not take miraculous religious doctrine for you to be, no, I'm not giving him credit for that. Meanwhile, do y'all know what this guy's background is? This guy's background is he's basically the bishop whisperer, right? His job was to be over top of the administration of like bishop assignments, right? Now think about all the Catholic cover-ups of scandals we've seen in recent years. Think about the fact that the Catholic Church still fights to avoid becoming mandatory reporters. Think about the fact that the Catholic Church has gone from being a known to be considered liberal and progressive politically, like, because that is low key, like it was like the Catholic Church was always considered to be pretty liberal except for abortion, right? Now, where's the Catholic Church? Hand in hand on the alt-right with MAGA, right? If you look at the Christo-fascism leadership in MAGA, it is, yes, evangelical, but it's also very, very Catholic. Who do you think is responsible for that shift in the Catholic Church? Ding, 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 bishops, congratulations. It took you like 4 seconds to think about the leadership structure of the Catholic Church and realize that it's the fucking bishops. The bishops literally are the leaders of the church. So if the Catholic Church is gone hard to the right, If the Catholic Church is still defending its ability to not report murders and child predators, and the new pope is the guy who's been in charge of appointing bishops, what kind of liberal whitewash cope is it to talk about what a lefty he is because he's anti-war and pro-immigration? Again, the bar is so fucking low, it's in hell, y'all. What part of the game is this? Again, with friends like this, y'all, who needs enemies? Oh, wait till I show you this one. Oh, wait till you get a load of this. Oh, here's our favorite, genetically modified skeptic. Go ahead, boy. Tell us about your grand plan.
Here's why, as an atheist who opposes religious overreach, I don't think the solution is to tax the churches. Keeping that little bit of money they would make in taxes is not making big evangelical churches rich. Their real money comes from creating moral justification for the immoral and destructive behavior of the already very rich. They say, don't worry about big oil destroying the planet because God is in control.
Climate change is a sham. First of all, God controls the climate.
Oil companies like that, so they support these churches. Evangelical institutions say the developing world needs Judeo-Christian values, which allows giant corporations to get away with neo-colonialism.
Big facts, Randy.
Controlling the natural resources and exploiting the people of other places looks immoral until you sell it as westernizing or Christianizing the place. This one also allows the US government to paint interference in the governments of other countries, including overthrowing democratically elected socialist leaders, as somehow moral. Yes, this has happened many times, and the CIA admits it. Finally, evangelical institutions teach that hard work is godly, that it's the only way anyone becomes rich, and that calling for redistribution of wealth is therefore entitled, selfish, lazy, and state-worshipping. This convinces people that the accumulation of massive wealth is moral, despite how much suffering and even death it creates for others. All of this allows institutions like Focus on the Family, Samaritan's Purse, and Christian universities everywhere to attract rich donors. People who are already wealthy invest in these Christian organizations so they can keep working people from taking political action against the wealthy. So these institutions don't really need tax breaks. The only Christian institutions that would suffer if we tax churches would be smaller communities who can't attract wealthy people, like black churches and progressive churches. My analogy.
And notice the white liberal with the fucking threat on behalf of the status quo, right? Notice, this is what I mean, gang. You're being attacked to the right, you're being attacked from the left. You got a motherfucking quote unquote lefty going, hey, the only people that would really be hurt if we started taxing the churches would be them black churches, you know, them progressive churches, them little brown people churches or whatever over there. First off, like, go ahead and tell me you're okay with indoctrination in our communities. Why don't you say that, Drew? Why don't you just go ahead and say you don't really give a shit if black communities are being indoctrinated? We don't want to tax the churches because that would hurt the black churches, because the black churches are good, I guess, now or something. We're supposed to like not want to tax the churches because that would hurt the black ones, or that would hurt the progressive ones. So that's the threat. It's like, hey, liberals, Don't get too high and mighty on that tax the churches shit, because really, if you tax the churches, you're gonna hurt your political allies. Ooh, ooh. And then when the black church gets hurt, you'll be accused of racism. Ooh, ooh. Again, gang, with friends like these, who needs enemies? Bro read a book. So now one of the largest atheist content creators in the world is trying to tell you why you don't really want them to tax the churches. Gang, are you fucking done with this type of bullshit atheism yet? Are we ready to just tell these motherfuckers like, yes, Drew, you're a nice guy, you're a great public speaker, but bro, you're a motherfucking student, bro. You need to sit your ass down. You need to grab a pen and a motherfucking notebook, and you need to listen up, and you need to shut the fuck up, because this is not it. This not it, bro. And I'm sorry, but like the same way a lot of y'all are too afraid to step to Christianity because you're too afraid to be uncomfortable. You're too afraid to have them uncomfortable conversations. I'm gonna hit y'all with the real shit. A lot of y'all are really afraid to piss off these popular atheists because you're worried then they won't want to collaborate with you or they won't want to take a picture with you at the conference or whatever. So y'all won't call these motherfuckers out on this bullshit. So just like 86 and 47, somebody gotta do it. You know what I'm talking about? All right, so we gotta just let y'all know, like, this ain't it, bruh. Like, and again, we cool. Like, if I hit you up at a conference, I'm gonna be like, yo, you make some sweet content. You want to smoke a J, have a couple of drinks, grab a bite to eat. Like, that's all good. But bro, I'm still gonna tell you this shit right here. This is not it, bro. Nah, this not it, bro. We taxing the motherfucking churches, bro. We want that fucking money, right? You just sat up here and explained to us how they get the fucking money, how they taking the fucking advantage of people, how they bringing in all the motherfucking rich and powerful donations, and then you're like, whoops, switcheroo. Actually, I'm telling you all that to tell you to not take their money from them. Get the fuck out of my face with this bullshit. So, y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all, this is not it. This is not it. But wait, there's more. Now let's go jump into this because this is going to be our main event of the evening. I'm going to show y'all this shit and then we're going to really talk about it because this ties in with our social experiment. But before we do that, let's hear from our fucking sponsors. I'd like to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's broadcast. Us. That's right, motherfuckers. This shit right here is real, independent, secular media. We have no sponsors, no advertisers, and we sure as hell don't have billionaire backers. We don't think billionaires should exist, so they don't call, and even if they did, we wouldn't answer. Let's keep it all the way real. We are not popular. Conservatives don't like us because we tell the truth. Liberals don't like us because we tell the truth. Believers don't like us because we tell the truth. And honestly, even most atheists don't like us because we tell the truth. So if you want to support a channel that's actually independent, not corporate branded, not billionaire funded, not algorithm approved, you can do it completely for free. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, share the content far and wide. Put other creators on to what we do. Tell them to check out the channel, encourage them to collaborate, or maybe even debate live with the community. And if you want to help keep the lights on, or dream with us about a future where we can do this full time, you can drop a few ducats through Ko-Fi or become a member. Most importantly, stay connected with the movement. Join our Discord and pull up to our live headquarters inside Work Adventure. All those links are in the description. This isn't passive entertainment. This is a takeover. We are taking over the internet. We are taking over the internet. All right, gang, let's check this out. This is awesome where I love this social experiment that the lady did with the babies. I think most of y'all know we're talking about a woman pretended to have a hungry baby. She had the baby noise crying in the background. It was chef's kiss, beautiful. She called churches to see which churches would help hook her up with some baby formula. Most of them did not. Only a few did. And actually, of the few that did, a bunch were not really Christian church, not like the big Christian church. They were like very small Christian churches, or they were like an Islamic center or like a Buddhist temple. So it's just been a whole mess. And then churches have been crashing out over this, mostly churches that weren't even involved, but obviously the churches that got checked in this, they've been having quite a time. I haven't really talked about it that much on this stream, but it ties into everything we've been talking about because we've been talking about this liberal whitewashing of churches this liberal whitewashing Christianity and the churches that goes on, even in, as we see, leftist and atheist spaces. And I think this social experiment really demonstrates one of my fundamental points that I think people are really not even getting in this. Even in this, what people are really saying is all about kind of like pointing out the hypocrisy of mega churches, and the fact that they didn't like help her and how bad that makes this look. But there are very few people like really like calling it what it is, which is the fact that like churches don't help people. Right. It's almost like everybody's like, oh, this is so shocking. And, some people are having fun with it, but they're not like just calling out the elephant in the room, which is like, yo, churches don't fucking help people. Right. And so we have to like hold these two things in our mind at the same time as liberals and fucking even atheists are like whitewashing Christianity, trying to pretend it's this humanistic thing. In real time, the government literally just snatched up everybody's fucking SNAP benefits. They're getting rid of the women, infants, and children program. They just moved K through 12 education to the Department of Labor. Get out of here. We live in a fucking dystopian hellscape, y'all. We live in a dystopian hellscape. And who the fuck brought us this hellhole? Who the heck supports and funds the party that brought us this hellhole? What faith does like almost every single member of the party that keeps doing all of this shit confess? What does fucking almost every single member of our government take their oath of office with their hand on? This is what a Christian government has brought us. This is what a Christian-dominated political and social system has brought us. Most of the people who support this shit are Christians, and there is like a super population. I don't know if it's a majority or not, and quite frankly, I don't give a fuck, because when it comes to power, they're the power majority of the faith. And the woke, left, progressive, feely-goody Christians that everybody loves are feckless and weak. They're the Democrats of the church. That's what we need to start calling them from now on. Somebody tells me, oh, I'm a liberal Christian. Oh, I'm a progressive Christian. Oh, so you're the fucking feckless fucking Democrats of the church. The motherfuckers who are just there to lose. Controlled opposition. Motherfuckers who know everybody up in this church that's really bout it, and rowdy fucking hates you because they think you're like a fucking weak, woke freak. While you're sitting there going, but Jesus told us to love the less fortunate. They're like, oh my God, would they shut the fuck? Would you just go hang out with the fucking darkies already in the hood? That's what they really want to say to you. Would you just go hang out with the darkies and the queers in the hood already? Because we're like tired of you bringing down the vibes in like our white evangelical, like, hey, we trying to do us right now. We trying to do us. And you're up in here with that woke liberal nonsense. They despise these people. But let's just let them know from now on, y'all. We just came up with that one. That's what we're going to let them know from now on. Y'all are the motherfucking Democrats of the church.
False Babylonian churches and calling you to a real relationship with him. God does not reside in temples made with human hands.
This is, and I feel like, I don't know if she's like, I think she's mocking the liberal Christians and shit. I think so. I don't know.
Show you a few of the videos that I've seen in just the past 2 or 3 days. So I'm sure by now we've all seen this woman who called around to a bunch of different churches, and not many of them would donate 1 can of baby formula. I think she's still going, so I don't know what the current number is, but the last I saw, I'm pretty sure it was like 6 out of the 50-ish churches that she called offered to give her the formula. These churches are raking in the big bucks.
Almost no white churches offered to feed a starving white child. Y'all, you can't make this stuff up. What are we doing? what are we doing? And like literally everybody's like running around with their goddamn cross necklaces. And like I hope y'all can some of y'all in the chat let people know if you've been seeing this like essentials fear of God like brand and just like what it's doing to the young people. Like y'all, the young people are rocking this essentials fear of God shit. Like we was rocking our fucking polo and our fucking Puma and our fucking, we was wearing some shit that some racist made in some sweatshops. But damn, like at least we knew it wasn't cool to like try to be like religion fashion forward. These motherfuckers are trying to make religion like their fashion statement. Like it's weird, y'all. Is weird. Like religion's not cool, y'all. I don't know like what's wrong with these young people, but somebody like told them like religion is badass. Like there's nothing badass about like reading your Bible, praying, and like getting your swole on in the gym to worship music. Like I mean, if that's your way of life, like again, be bowdy and rowdy, like go for it. But please understand that that's not what the cool kids are doing in the bathroom. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Like, stop trying to make Christianity cool. It's not going to happen.
From their congregation, tax breaks, all of these donations. I'm sure they're getting grants and everything else. And they couldn't help out with a can of formula. And I don't want to hear, oh, like you have to be part of the congregation at that church. That's not what the Bible says. This is not about individual churchgoers. This is about exposing the system.
The church that said that they would only give a can of formula to a starving baby if they went to that church. This is Dr. Matt Brown, the pastor since...
Yeah, a whole bunch of them were like, well, do you attend one of our campuses? Oh my goodness, did you really? Did you really? It'd have been fucked up if she was like, yes, and then they're probably like, let me see that they start pulling that donation book. They start trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying? You putting your shit in the coffer or not? You know what I'm saying? If you one of the real funders, they might hook you up with a little formula, you know? You don't put thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars into the church. We're gonna make sure you get your formula, you know what I'm saying? But what you say you've been here, you've been coming here for 5-6 years? $20. Yeah, sorry, we don't have it. Yeah, sorry, we don't have that kind of thing on hand usually.
2021 at Germantown Baptist Church in Tennessee. If you look up their property record, it's owned by Germantown Baptist Church Incorporated, which isn't weird, but there's all this public information underneath me. When you open up the appraisals, you see this, that the total assessment of the church is $151,000, but the total appraisal of the church is $2.1 million. That is a significant difference. You have to do something to your property for it to be valued more. And since they didn't buy land, they already owned the 65 acres. I looked at their permits. Look at the numbers on these. In 2023 for $175,000, and then in 2024 for $2.4 million. Alteration of front existing altar at Germantown Baptist Church, platform to be extended out 12 feet forward. $175,000. But let's get into the big one. $2.4 million for what? Well, we don't know. GBC Worship Center repairs and updates to the center at Germantown Baptist Church. 2024, they did $2.4 million.
Do you pay for the Jesus Plus blessing package? I'm dead. That's fucking amazing.
Updates, according to their permits, the entire place is valued and appraised at $2.1 million, which is less than the updates that they just put in, and it is all appraised except for $151,000 of it on the land that they already owned. You know, man, you really should have just bought the can of formula.
Yep.
Social media world of armchair video and keyboard warriors who only care about throwing shade from hundreds of miles away will not care if we get it right.
The churches that didn't offer to give the baby formula responded to the woman that was doing the social experiment.
I don't apologize to the devil. Yeah, sometimes Christians get so weak, you forgot we're supposed to rebuke evil.
And again, this the type of shit that goes on in black churches every day. See, I'm gonna tell you some shit that's for real. And I hate to say this, y'all, but I'm gonna just speak from the heart. Like that shit of pretending like the black church is cute is so fucking toxic. And to me, honestly, it's some of the most racist thing you could fucking do. Because here's part of my real hatred for Christianity. Christianity is part of white reckoning. It is part of this country taking responsibility for the realities of racism and what was done to black people in this country. Why are there even black people in this country? Y'all love to do little period throwback pieces so you could take yourself to some faraway land, into some portion of the distant past, so you can imagine a world where we weren't even around and call it accurate to the history or lore of your imagined world. So then why have a country with black people in the first place? Oh, that's right, you stole us so we could be free labor. Cool. But that's why we're here. And why are black people Christian? Oh, because their religion and their customs were taken from them. Not originally, because originally we thought we couldn't enslave Christians, so we definitely were not going to make them Christian. But then once we realized, we could just use racism, we decided them being Christian would actually make them better slaves, because we could use the Bible to teach them that God said they're actually supposed to be slaves. So just be good slaves and you'll get your reward for being a good slave in the next life. Yeah. So that's why black people are Christian. So then when you sit there as a white liberal and decide you don't want to tax the churches because that would just hurt the black churches, you're then basically saying, like, I'm okay with the black church continuing to dominate black communities. And I have another little wrinkle for you to fucking take into consideration. And a lot of, first off, I hate kind of doing this division where it's like, black communities are hard up and, white communities are bathing in privilege. I know it's not always like that. Most poor people in this country are white folks, mostly who live in rural areas and things like that. So I don't want to be insensitive to that. But there is a way in which, especially for privileged communities, church is a luxury. Basically, if you want to give away 10% of your income to some cause that you really believe in that makes you feel good about yourself, knock yourself out. People think you're awesome for it. Cool. If you want to, invest in that institution or whatever, knock yourself out because you're going to be all right. But when you come into a lot of marginalized communities, people don't have shit. And the limited resources that they have, they need to be doing things that are really actually turning into leverage in improving their material living conditions, not bullshit. And so when people are just like, oh, I think, religion is cute, so I don't give a fuck if all black people have is false hope. I don't give a fuck if they can't afford shit, but then they still got these grifter pastors still demanding 10% of their income. I don't give a shit if black people are more disproportionately likely to be working 2 and 3 jobs already, and then rather than being able to take a couple of night classes or maybe get a different certification so they can maybe take a step forward in their financial situation so they could free themselves up to a little bit of that leisure time we talked about, just so they could have enough time to spend time with their fucking family and maybe spend a little more time with their kids. They ain't even thinking about traveling around the world on vacation and no bullshit like that. But no, now every waking fucking hour that they're not working their second or third fucking gig, they're at the goddamn church praising Jesus, who ain't gonna do a goddamn thing for nobody. But y'all think it's cute, so you want to make sure the black church is good to go. No, what y'all need to motherfucking do is get ready to tell black people, yeah, we're sorry, Jesus isn't real. He is, in fact, the God of white supremacy. We did, in fact, whitewash that God. And yeah, we did force Christianity on you when you were enslaved. I'm real sorry about that. But that's the fucking truth. So miss me with all of that glorification of the black church. All of it. Miss me with that. Because Black Christianity is what ruined my goddamn family. Black Christianity is why I don't talk to my goddamn mother, because she's in a fucking cult that hates people like me. Ain't shit cute about it. And while we're at it, let's also talk about the fact that y'all use the black church as a source of fucking entertainment. Y'all think, oh, the music is better and the people are dancing and they're running around and they're falling out and, you know, they're dressed to the nines and you know, the food is better. They actually season the chicken. And, you know, for y'all, it's like a fucking, you know, it's like this tourism. That's what it is. It's fucking tourism. Wow, wouldn't it be cool if our church music actually sounded like this? And then you go on about your business and never think about what the black church actually does in our communities at all. Let's roll the tape.
You in Jesus' name. So if you're watching this morning, repent while you have a chance. But for my part, I forgive you. I really do. Because the devil is using you like a pair of galoshes.
Yeah, so this was so ugly. And if you really had to go to the black church and if you gave a shit and you actually listened to the message, you've actually listened to what the fuck these super uneducated preachers actually say to their fucking communities, yeah, you'd realize it is just ignorance stacked on top of bullshit, stacked on top of ignorance, stacked on top of bullshit. And these motherfuckers rolling around in Cadillacs and Mercedes with their three-piece suits on. They're running that same church grift the white pastors are running. It's just in a community of people who really don't have the money like that. And it's fucking terrible. And it's the misogyny and the fuck, and it's the same shit with the sex scandals and the taking advantage of children and brainwashing the whole fucking community and humiliating people for their personal behavior and all of this type of shit. And then basically convincing our people that if they don't do that, they're basically gonna end up dead or in jail. It's a completely coercive, toxic fucking scam.
All of the time. And so if you think the response to churches saying no to helping baby formula is to tax the churches, we spend $1 trillion a year on our military.
Understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. It's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. Now, everyone up here, we've all sold and seeded, but I need everyone standing up here with us, with me, to plant a seed of $100. Because again, it costs to sit up here. And this is what I need you to do. If you're giving electronically, or even if you're giving tangibly, I'm going to have y'all come to the altar and give it, because I need to see 1,000 people moving. Bring them baskets. I want the baskets up here. I want to see the folk. Y'all start moving. Y'all can bring it right now. Come. Y'all looking at me like I stole something. I ain't steal nothing. The Lord blessed me. And I'm telling you how he wants to bless this house.
There is a church in Florida called the First Presbyterian Church of Wildwood. And in that church, the church rents space to a soup kitchen called the Wildwood Soup Kitchen. The Wildwood Soup Kitchen is feeding tons of people in their area. It says $17,000 a month, over 550 people per day. And they say it's mostly homebound seniors.
Hey, Jester.
The church is raising their rent so significantly that the soup kitchen has to move out. The soup kitchen has to move out and stop feeding seniors in their community because the church is raising their rent. So then I thought to myself, I bet the church doesn't pay income tax on that rental income either. I bet they don't even pay income tax on that.
I, Roberta McCoy, giving faith and stand in unity with the vision of Perfecting Church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm going to work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
He said he asked for 2,000, y'all. She rolled up with 1,200. He said, I asked you for 1,000 plus 1,000. Notice how all of a sudden church people get real smart when the money. You start talking about money, their math skills just get real sharp real quick. And she said she ain't even had to answer. She just said, Pastor, I'm gonna work on the other 800. He said, that's not what I asked you to do. Oh, that's some dumb talk. You understand what I'm saying to you? I was just trying to figure out, because I always think Christians is so dry. Like, again, church is so uncool. It's like literally the least sexiest thing imaginable. I do not understand why people are still trying to act like church is a vibe. But in any case, I'm always like, how do how do we get down with these people? Because I just don't understand. Like it's very difficult to imagine. But when he said that, think about what it takes for a woman to come up to you with her child with her, right? And say and boom, I'm gonna hit you with the 2,000. I'm gonna hit you with the 1,200. Hits him with $1,200, and his response is, when you do 1,000 plus 1,000, and she says, Pastor, I'm gonna work on the other 800, and he says, that's not what I asked you to do. He got that Dom in him, y'all. I've been sleeping on Christian sexuality. I have been sleeping on Christian sexuality. It is BDSM. They are all about the BDSM. It is all about Dom, sub. I'm seeing the kink. I'm seeing the kink. My eyes are opening. I'm learning, Christians. I'm learning. I really do. I feel the Dom energy. Okay. I see what y'all are into. Okay. We're not gonna yuck their yum. I see that.
Dogs, flipped tables, whipped them, screamed at them, told them that they were making his father's house a den of thieves. Jesus was the biggest opposition to organized religion.
Did you hear it, y'all? Jesus was the biggest opposition to organized religion. And again, I got to tell you who the left is. The left is still going to be these. It's not a religion, it's a relationship, motherfuckers. Listen, again, I love this video. This video is awesome. We got to stop with the whitewashing of Christianity, y'all. Jesus is not a leftist. Jesus was not progressive. Jesus is a failed apocalyptic minister who may not have even existed in the first place. Okay? And he was also an asshole. And definitely like a hardcore legalistic Jew. Like, yeah. And also, these motherfuckers think he's God. So maybe since there's no God, we should stop allowing people to like insert Jesus here, and we'll let Jesus stand in for all the positive things about humanity. Like, I liberals, I need this to stop immediately. I need y'all to get on message. Christianity has to go down with Trump. Okay? Don't fucking come at me like, oh, Trump's going down. Now's the time to make Christianity more progressive. Now's the time to celebrate our progressive Christians. Now's the time to embrace our LGBTQ Christian community. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm not having any of it. I'm telling y'all that right now, I'm not having. So save it. I'm very politically astute. I see it coming. Yep, I see it coming. I know it's going to happen. I know that's where they're going to go. I'm telling y'all right now, we're here to end Christianity. We're here to end it now. Christianity goes down with Trump. We're not about to make a leftist American Jesus. I'm sorry, that's not happening. Roll the tape.
Park my car and sleep. I'm not bothering anybody by being here. I don't cause any trouble. All I do is park my car here and sleep. That's it. I don't know where else to go. So what do you think you're going to accomplish by this ban? Because it's not going to make you look good. I suggest both of you open the Bible and see, look what it says about homeless people and poor people and what you're supposed to do. Because it's not this. It's not this. And you know it. But I expect nothing from the church. I hope you're not turning that off. Record it all. Put it on Facebook.
A lot of these churches heavily intertwined with the occult, Freemasons, all of those groups to feed intentionally wrong doctrine. They pumped a lot of money into America.
And then again, like, why do I want to hear from fucking leftist atheists telling me how beautiful it is to seeing the police arrest unhoused people? And then at the same time are going to look at us crazy when we say housing should be a fucking human right. When we say housing should be a human right, these motherfuckers are going to tell us we're going way too far to the left We're going way too radical. We're becoming communists. We're becoming socialist. By the way, we should be becoming communist and becoming socialist. I don't understand what the motherfucking problem is. Why do you hate the cure? Why are you so in love with the disease? I don't understand. I don't understand. So this is, again, we gotta really correct our side, y'all. We gotta clean up our own house. I hate to be the one to break this news to you. The other side isn't fucking listening to us anyway. We're godless. They literally think we're Satan's spawn and that we're fucking evil. And if somebody told them that they could snap their fingers and we would all magically disappear, they would have been snapping them fingers. They would be rubbing their fingers. They'd be snapping bone on motherfucking bone by now, gang. Please don't forget that. So if you want to make a motherfucking difference in this world, I suggest you put on your big kid pants, grow a fucking pair, and get ready to call out your own side, because those are the only motherfuckers you can hope to influence anyway. So we just got to stop with the fucking white liberal atheist fucking liberalizing, whitewashing Jesus propaganda, because it's fucking horseshit, and y'all need to realize you sound like Charlie motherfucking Kirk.
American churches in just the past few months. Here's just one of the videos that features some of the churches in America that are selling their congregations data to Israel and giving them permission for geofencing.
Thank you. Hang the fuck on, PC.
The congregation
PC coming through super mod style with the motherfucking reality bomb. Okay. Most of us are 1 to 2 checks away from being in their shoes. Yes. Yep. I can say that as somebody who's transitioning between jobs and literally just had to take out a fucking loan, aka go into some more debt, so I can make sure I don't end up unhoused in the interim. It's not a fucking joke. It's the motherfucking reality. And I only share that with y'all. I'm only comfortable sharing that with y'all because I know some of y'all in the same motherfucking position. Like, literally. So we hear y'all, though. They ain't got rid of us yet.
The church bounds, Israel can go in their phone essentially and like brainwash them by feeding them specific ads, and then like they're also preaching the doctrines and all kinds of stuff like that.
Hell yeah, Patty.
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. I sit back, my brain with fiction. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flows like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow to the extreme. I rock a mic like a vandal, light up a stage and wax a jump like a candle. Dance, crush speaker that booms. I'm feeling your brain.
All right, y'all. For those that can't see right now, this guy said that this is a list of churches that are running this like pro-Israel software. And basically like Israel can then like jump into their phones and like, you know, give them the Zion advertisement plan. Speaking of which, y'all, my business partner went to check out like a educational services, I don't know, conference or some shit like that. And one of the vendors there look like they advertise like free student enrichment services and professional development services. And when you go to their site, y'all, they're totally Zionist. And literally like their whole thing is about integrating, like correcting the education about Judaism and American Israel relationships, and like they make a whole fucking curriculum around it. Like, these people are fucking scary, and they literally are obsessed with like literally like becoming a brain virus in our society, and like making sure like every American is hardcore programmed to be pro-Israel. And you wonder like why you have to do that, because you would think if you had good ideas, you could just tell us your ideas and we'd be like, yo, that's a good idea. Yo, I'm really down with that. I really like what you just said right there. For some reason, they don't take that tactic.
This must be deadly. When I play a dope melody, anything less than the best is a felony. Love it or leave it. You better can't wait. You better hit bulls out of kids, don't play. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it. I lift my hands to give
Look
you
at
the
this
glory.
shit. What is this?
I lift my hands to give praise, and we will praise you.
I guess this is supposed to be shaming
just a
people for
temple.
what they eat. I don't know.
Syrup all over the communion. Don't care so
This is
much.
so weird.
Over the Bible too.
This is such weird pastor performance art right here.
Stop acting like you care about this.
He making sure he don't get that suit
Stop
dirty
acting
though.
like this matters to you. With the pronouns in their bio is the church I was employed at not too long ago. In this video,
It says they, y'all. His shit. Wait,
with
y'all
the
gotta
pronouns
see
in their bio is
this.
the church I was employed at.
It says they them equals legion. They them equals legion. It says they them theirs. And y'all, it's for the church. He put the pronouns for the church as they them theirs. It's a motherfucking organization. Oh my God. Churches don't actually have genders. It's actually, like, narrowly speaking, the actual correct grammatical choice. It's not even a situation where an actual gender pronoun would even be appropriate. These motherfuckers are so patriotic and so fucking American, but they're such big transphobes that they literally are on a fucking rampage war. They're in spiritual warfare against the goddamn English language. This is the timeline we live in, gang. This is the timeline we live in. This is the timeline we live in. Hang on, I got to show y'all something before I let her finish. I got to show y'all something that's fucking hilarious. It's gonna show y'all exactly the fuck is wrong with this country. Hang on a sec. Let me find this shit. This is a worthwhile fucking bonus here. All right. Where's my guy at? Oh, okay, here we go. Let me. Oh, you know what? I don't think I'm pulling the right guy. I gotta fucking find this shit for you guys. Let me let her go.
Not too long ago. In this video of this youth pastor who took my position, making fun of Charlie Kirk in this video, is now the youth pastor at that same church. Now, I don't say this as slander. This is a hard video for me to make. I say this as a warning to the American church, because it can happen to your church too. I never thought it would happen to mine. My Bible-believing church, I never thought it would be possible until we were hiring a new pastor and he started having conversations with me and saying some things, this woke ideology, and I took it to the elder board. Hear me. I took it to the elder board and I said, this is what he's saying. And they looked at me and they said, stop sowing discord. And they disciplined me.
Did a full video talking about this guy who went into a church. He was very clearly heavily possessed, not oppressed, possessed. Instead of trying to cast the demon out or bind it or do anything, the priest called the police and stood in the back of the church silent and watched as the cops took him out. For the first time since the Catholic Church's inception, so like 100 or 150 years after Christ, like 100 years after the Sadducees disbanded, because that's what this is, they finally clarified that Mary does not redeem people and that only Jesus does. But, you know, Mary will help you get out of purgatory.
And this is the type of silly shit I'm just like, really, y'all? It's 2025 and we're still letting these magic wizard people fucking do magical incantations and then like pretend that they're improving society while they literally hide the pedophiles. Oh, and don't, you know what? While we're on that topic, gang, Christians, I need you to shut the fuck up about the Epstein files. I'm saying this with my whole chest. I need you to shut the fuck up about the Epstein files. Because not only have you systematically supported organizations that protect and defend all types of sex pests, but child predators especially, almost like in a unique fashion, again, see this same Catholic Church that everybody's so excited about how liberal the new pope is. Gang, how many times in your lifetime have they been so excited about how liberal the new pope is, only to eventually remember he's the fucking pope of the Catholic Church? What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my goodness, the liberal brain rot. But not only have you uniquely protected these men, you have conditioned society to look the other way. So stop asking, stop playing dumb. Stop acting like, where did they get this from? Why are they trying to hide the files? Why would they let the government go so that the president doesn't have to answer tough questions about what he did, Mr. Pedophile Man? Why was Mr. Pedophile Man hanging out with the royals and Bill Clinton and Barack Obama's people and motherfucking what's his face? He's becoming so irrelevant so quickly. I already forgot his goddamn name. What's the motherfucking socialist fucking dude that was caught up with fucking Epstein? What the fuck is wrong with these people? The fuck is wrong with these people? So stop. Like, what do y'all mean? Like, how do y'all not understand that this is literally Christian culture? Y'all are like, this is a Christian country. This is a Christian country. This is a Christian country. Then you look at what the Christian churches do, and then when the Christian country does the thing the Christian churches do, y'all are like, I don't understand where they're getting this from. Miss me with that bullshit. I know exactly where the fuck they get it from, and if you ask me, I'm a motherfucking tell you.
Is not a thing. You are not to be called rabbi, for you have one teacher and you are all brothers. Call no man your father on earth, for you have one Father who is in heaven. Neither be called instructors, for you have one instructor, the Christ.
I get it. I see it. See? But none are you to be called rabbi, because you only have one teacher. And call no man your father, because I am your father. Oh, y'all are into that BDSM. Heavy. Gang, I might have to read the Bible. I've never read the Bible as a kink novel. I've never explored the biblical potential. I've never explored the intellectual merits or the philosophical high-mindedness that's on offer reading the Bible as the motherfucking smut. I see what y'all are into.
The greatest
now.
among you shall be your servant. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted.
Yup, daddy, rabbi, teacher, servant. Yup.
But woe to you, scribes and Pharisees,
Wow, I can't
for
believe
you
I'm
shut
this
the
late
kingdom
to
of heaven in
this.
people's faces. You neither enter yourselves nor allow those who would enter to go in. Come out of her, my people, lest you take part
Come
in her
out of
sins,
her, yep.
lest you share in her plagues. For her
Wow.
sins are heaped high as heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. If we as Christians choose to defend these churches and this evil, or to just stay silent on it, we are only hurting the people watching that are not Christian and don't understand, and turning people away from God. And if we don't
See, now this is the thing, right? This is the thing, like, and this is the brain rot that you can't encourage. See, this is what happens. You have people who are literally sincerely believing the bullshit. Like, this is so scary to me that you have this clearly very intelligent person can see all the bullshit going on in the church, right? Give you this whole real sharp analysis, and their conclusion, they're making the church look bad. They're making the church look bad. Why? Because people buy into that bullshit. They buy into the liberal whitewashing of Christianity. And that is why it is so fucking dangerous for atheists to reinforce that message. Because you are encouraging them in their delusion rather than giving them clarity and saying, come over here, child. Come over here and come take a seat at the big kids table. Leave behind that childish, foolish, magical woo-woo-ness. We don't really do that. We're grown folks over here. And help contribute to the society you want to live in, because this is not helpful. Because again, the churches aren't actually helping people. And again, that's what people are not seeing. Instead of people seeing, holy shit, churches don't help people, this is all bullshit, let's change course. Instead, we're getting the liberal national bullshit of, actually, this is making Christianity look bad. And if those churches had just answered those phone calls and bought a few bottles of baby formula, people would see how great Christianity really is. And then it'd be really awesome that we all became Christians and, instead of reforming our government, actually just relied on faith and the blessings of God, instead of, changing government policies so that we don't continue to live in one of the wealthiest countries to ever exist on the surface of the planet that also has the greatest wealth inequality imaginable. Why don't we do something about that? Oh, wait, because the Christians won't let us. Christianity in this country is uniquely responsible for why we don't have nice things. If I lived in Saudi Arabia, maybe Islam would uniquely be the reason we don't have nice things. Although I got to tell you, I hear they have a lot of nice things that we don't have. So maybe an Islamic caliphate would be an upgrade? How fucking ridiculous does that sound? That's how I feel about liberal Christianity. I want to live under liberal Christianity as bad as you want to live in an Islamic state. Not at all. Okay? But I hear they got a banging universal healthcare system and hook a brother up. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm really trying to say. All right, y'all. Let me hit y'all with this little piece of dessert since you hung in there for the main event.
Happy Saturday.
This is called Stupid People Are Costing Us Everything. Couldn't agree more. Remember, Christianity's got to go down with MAGA. Here's another reminder.
I saw articles this week that showed tweets and whatnot. I saw some video clips of some right-wing podcasters. Somebody, I think on purpose, because they knew that this is the reaction that these people would provide, put out a story that circulated like wildfire on right-wing media, right-wing websites and Twitter and whatnot, saying that as his first order of business after he is sworn in as mayor of New York, that Zoran Mamdani is going to force all K through 12 New York school children to learn Arabic numerals. In case you don't know, Arabic numerals are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Those are Arabic numerals, the numbers that we've all used every single day for our entire lives. But because there are innumerable numbers of people on the right who are legitimate morons, they don't know that the numbers we use every
legitimate
day are
morons.
Arabic numerals.
Yeah, they don't know that.
And so they uniformly started freaking out. Who was it? I think it's Cap Without a Country who describes those folks as screeching fecal demons. And boy, has that been on full display this week. The crash outs, like there's one podcaster guy, his name's Asmongold, I think, and he was reading an article and he was live streaming, and you could just see the reaction. You could see him freak out in real time because he didn't know that the numbers we use every single day are Arabic numerals. And he's reading this and he was just like,
this is so ridiculous.
It's happening faster than I thought. And he ripped his headphones off, and he got up and just walked away from his computer. Clearly having some type of Islamophobic existential crisis because he's too stupid to understand, because he doesn't get the joke. He doesn't get the joke. And I think that's another reason why so many people on the right hate people on the left, because it's like people on the right are educated enough that they understand like that range of humor, of jokes, of like stand-up comedy. People who are educated get to experience and understand this kind of a range of jokes and stand-up comedy and humor and things like that, because there's a lot more to work with than that. And I mean, how many times have you like tried to have you told a joke to one of your right-wing relatives or one of your right-wing friends, and they're like, I don't get it, and you have to explain it to them and they still don't get it. They're dumb. They're just dumb. They're just dumb, uninformed, ignorant, stupid people. And which is why they cling to religion, because religion explains everything to them and they don't have to think for themselves.
There it is. And here's the other thing too, like, you have to tie the two things together. Those of you that are not sufficiently motivated by social justice or human dignity, or I don't know, the existential crisis that threatens our survival, I don't know, are you one of those also weird liberals that's then going to pretend that like education is like the most important thing or whatever, or like the real great American crisis, right? That explains all the other ones, right? Like why do we have so many flat earthers and people that don't accept evolution, and MAGA morons, and America First Nazis, and an education to school, a school to prison pipeline. Think about that. That's a thing in America. Richest country in the world has a school to prison pipeline. That says great things about the American education system, does it not? And I guess if it's not a school to prison pipeline, it's mostly like a school to factory jobs pipeline, except there are no factory jobs. So also not great. Like, it's like our education system is fucked, gang. And if we don't talk about the fact that these religions have very moneyed and powerful interest in maintaining and rapidly accelerating the dumbification of America, like what are we doing? And so again, you're just gonna have to get over your discomfort with confronting religion. That really is the solution. And if it makes you feel better, religious people forced our hands. Matter of fact, the sooner you realize religious people forced our hands, the sooner we can get on with what we got to get on with. Because that's the truth. We can't demand a way to end religion that religious people are comfortable with. That's not how cults work, and I think at some level you already know that. So you have to understand that it's the dogged indoctrination that necessitates sort of an uncomfortable removal. It's not an easy process. But again, they're so committed to the bullshit that we've got to take a more forceful approach. That's just the nature of the beast.
And then when the powers that be twist religion to get them to hate people,
it's great.
Again, zero critical thinking skills, very low grade education. They're just dumb, which makes it easy for the people who want to manipulate them to get them to hate others in the United States. And then they focus all of their time and energy and effort on hating trans people and the LGBTQ community and immigrants and women, so that they're distracted and they don't see what the 1% is really doing to all of us. And even when they do start to see some of it, they're very quickly rerouted to capitalism is great, capitalism is freedom, I might be a billionaire someday too. And then, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, Wayne, I'm feeling this. Wayne said, I need white American liberals to grow the fuck up like white Europeans and learn to make fun of the religious. That is fucking perfect, Wayne.
A literal plague of stupid people in this country. It's an actual literal plague of stupid people, which that's fine. That's one thing, but they're manipulated to hate, and they're manipulated to vote against their own self-interests, and they're manipulated in every way that you can possibly imagine for the benefit of millionaires and billionaires. And so it's fun to laugh at them. We have to find humor where we can, especially in these dark times. And it's legitimately fun to laugh at them. But they're costing us everything. Stupid people are costing us everything.
Yep.
Oh, I knew it.
That is like
Yeah,
so
I knew.
that is so good. That is so good. Oh, all right. Hang on. Before I get out of here, I'll give you guys one more thing. I saw it was really good. I don't know why. I like kind of doing shows like this. I don't do a lot of shows where I have a bunch of short stuff. Usually I do like a longer thing and like takes forever. It's kind of fun just like doing a bunch of quick hitters. Let me see if I can get this thing to pop up. I think it was a short. Let's see. Here we go. All right, you guys are gonna love this.
Oh my god, is that a bear?
Well,
Oh my god, who are you?
All you females said you'd rather be in the woods with a bear than a man, and now look at you. Have fun getting mauled by a bear.
Hey, is this guy bothering you?
Yeah. Whatever, I'm gonna have fun watching you get torn to shreds.
I just ate. I don't really know what you're talking about, but you're being kind of weird.
You're a bear. You attack people. I've seen videos of it.
Well, you're a man, so you also attack people. A lot more people than I do. And you also attack bears sometimes, okay? I saw The Revenant. Like, I only attack things when I feel threatened or I need to eat. Like, you're foaming at the mouth hoping that I attack her to feel self-righteous. That's weird. And if I did attack her, no one would be like, well, what was she wearing? Was she drunk? This is what she gets for camping. And if I did attack her, people would be hunting me down. They wouldn't be like, well, the bear has a promising future in water polo, so maybe we should be lenient. Why don't you just focus on making yourself the kind of man a woman would choose over a bear? Would you like to be escorted out of the woods?
That would be lovely.
That bear was a perfect gentleman. All right. All right, gang. I had some fun. I had to share some of the crumbling atheist empire. What are we doing, gang? With friends like these, who needs enemies? What are these atheists talking about? What are they talking about? Don't tax the churches. Christianity is humanist Marxism. Jesus loves everybody. Like I can't, gang. We really gotta do better. We gotta do better. Look, I love y'all. I appreciate everybody for coming through. Thank you so much to the mods. Y'all know all the stuff to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're hitting us up later, please answer the question of the day, always in the description. So are all the links to support the channel and stay in touch with the community. Join the Discord, come through Work Adventure. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. I don't know when I'll be back. I'll probably be back soon. Got to go do some homework basically for my classes or whatever. But we got Thanksgiving break coming up, so hopefully I'll find some time to do something fun. All right, love you.